I am Neil Larthos. I am the next Abdullah. You are the next Neville Goddard. Your SP gets wet, moist every single time they think of you, and your bank account makes Jeff Bezos look homeless. Really quick, if you want to manifest the reality of your dreams, look no further. My information is down below. Law of attraction is gay. Be God instead. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to jump right into this. Okay, so look, a lot of us, whenever we are manifesting an SP, manifesting wealth, manifesting, etc., 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 we think it solely based off of techniques. Well, that's why I say that law of attraction and really any manifestation community is not to be idolized. The techniques are not supposed to be the things that we idolize. Okay? Just like if you get into religion and they say you shouldn't idolize the preacher, you shouldn't idolize the theology. Like when I got into Christianity, there was a lot of arguing over scripture verses and who can memorize the book of Proverbs better than one another, instead of just simply having a relationship with God. And as we already have been awakened, we understand that God is just a representation of our true nature, who we really are. We are an eternal being living in a human experience. So when you realize that, like I was thinking about this the other day, when you watch the Avengers films, okay, there's Doctor Strange, Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, all those motherfuckers just wreaking havoc whenever they're trying to defeat Thanos there in the streets of New York, or fucking Ultron or Loki in the first two movies, right? In our reality that we live currently, I mean, unless you're watching this from another parallel fucking, portal, but in our reality, the only enforcement that we have is the military and the police, right? And government. We don't have fucking Captain America, right? We don't have Spider-Man to defeat the Green Goblin out here in these streets, right? We have to defeat the Green Goblin with a little pew pew, and then if they blow us up, oh fucking well, we're dead, right? We need a hero, okay? I need a hero. I'm all in a hero. Right, we need a hero, right? But you see, in those movies, whenever you watch them, you'll see that the police are trying to like fucking shoot at the gigantic monster, and that monster just takes out the whole fucking academy with one fucking fart, And when we saw Thanos try to take over fucking planet Earth when he was looking for the Infinity Stones, the police just fucking gave up, and you didn't even see like one fucking police officer to try to even interfere. They were just like, you know what? It's like a fucking ice day. It's like they had to stay home because they knew, okay, this is already out of our hands. We're gonna get shot. We're gonna get fucking eaten up the moment we even step foot out the door. We might as well just shut the fuck up and let Iron Man take care of it. Let the Incredible Hulk take care of it. Let Captain America, right? Well, that's the way you should look at these desires, these techniques, is like at the end of the day, they are kind of like police officers, trying to defeat a gigantic alien monster. But in reality, it's nothing but just bullets to invincible steel, okay? At the end of the day, the ones that are more powerful are the beings that are more powerful. And who's more powerful, a human or a god? Well, like I say, you are God. But when you focus too much on the techniques, which all a technique really is just you saying, okay, I want to marry this guy, but all he wants is to fuck. So I'm going to listen to the technique that Neil Larthos told me, and I'm going to message him in my comments and say, But am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Should I say it like this or should I say it like that? You know, how many times do I have to affirm? Should I do it in the morning? Should I do it at the night? When you talk like that, you are talking like the human. How disgusted would we be if God was asking us for advice on how to throw the rain or how to send thunder strikes in Alaska, right? He doesn't need our fucking advice. He's God. He knows. He created us. This situation that you were seeing right now where he only wants to fucking, he only wants a friends with benefits. That is your creation. The clay cannot tell the potter what to do. You are the potter. You do whatever the fuck you want. Because I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. This whole situation where he only wants to fuck and doesn't want a committed relationship was something you created. How did you create? Because you developed either a thought that you kept identifying with that said that you were not worthy of a committed relationship. All guys are the same. They're just dogs. Or you never saw love before. Maybe you had shitty parents and you always associate love with abandonment. Or you simply have a low self-concept that is not in alignment with one who a man would drop everything and even leave their fucking wife and children to commit to. And because of that, you shift to the state, aka shifting the state is just another way to say that you shifted to the reality where it's impossible for him to not want more than fucking sex, because you shifted to the reality where you don't deserve that. Because if you are in the state, reality is going to reflect who you are. Why? Because you're God. It would be like if God decided to give up his perfection and humble himself, just like in the Bible where he did just that when he was Jesus, right? Do you think that he couldn't have fucking unnailed himself from the cross and basically mogged everybody and showed them who the fuck was boss? No, he humbled himself. Like the scriptures say, he became like one of us by his own choosing, but he did it to teach us a lesson. Well, guess what? There's a SP over here passing by. You give up your power willingly when you create the circumstances that you don't want. Okay? When you identified with the self-concept of the one who doesn't get commitment, or if you have a crush on that hot girl with the big ass at the gym, when you identify with the thoughts of, oh, I'm too short, she's not going to talk to me because my biceps are not as fucking big as, you know, the other guys that she keeps looking at whenever she passes by the dumbbells. You are giving up your God power right there, and therefore, because reality will only reflect you and who you're being, it must reflect. But then the question comes, and this is why I named this fucking video Law of Attraction is Gay. Then the question becomes, well, okay, Neo, what do I have to do to stay in the state? Right? It's not something you do, it's something that you be. Because remember, because you are God, and because you are an eternal being living in a human experience, what that means is that even when you notice that your body is feeling depression, feeling lonely, feeling rejection, when we get rejected, when we feel lonely, when we feel depressed, that is all a chemical reaction in the brain. That is all simple things that we are experiencing in our body. It's pain. It's a lump in our throat. It's a shitty feeling in our stomach, right? So if we are not the mind and we are not the body, then you have the right to look at the pain, Look at the loneliness, look at the rejection, and decide otherwise. Because the same way that God said, let there be light, is the same way that you can see that your whole fucking notifications on your phone are drier than the Sahara Desert, but you say, no, let there become all over my face. And if you're a dude, let there be tits and ass all over my mouth to where I'm fucking suffocating on her Victoria's Secret. Because I have a fucking Victoria's Secret for you. It doesn't matter what the fuck the 3D is showing you. It will keep showing you the same if you keep responding to it. You want to know the real way to be in the state? Look, I can tell you about alter egos. I can tell you about meditations and affirmations, self-pedestalizations, all that shit. But all that is just tools to get you to realize who you really are. But you want to get to the point where you no longer have to keep pulling out stuff from your toolbox and have to wear the utility belt every single time you go places. I mean, it's kind of like those fucking superheroes that have to wear the fucking crazy ass electro mask, and then they have to wear the skin tight uniform, and then the fucking cape has to be tied correctly on their back. No, you could just fucking show up as your raggedy ass self. But because you have such a high self-concept, and you are the one who gets the SP, and you are the one that knows that they're worthy of success in their career, and you know how to find happiness within yourself, because you know that it doesn't come from anything external but in here. And if you want to give yourself an experience, all you got to do is give it to yourself up here, and it will have to be reflected some way, somehow in this universe. And if you know how to detach from the 3D, even when it looks like it's taking 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 5 days, 5 years, you will no longer even care about the weight, because you know that you already gave yourself it, just like the same way that when you were a child, you gave yourself trauma because you identified with the lack of love that your parents were giving you. And therefore, it didn't show up maybe 5 days later, but it showed up 15 years later when you got rejected in high school. Right? It was inevitable. Well, whether it is 5 days from now, 5 hours from now, or 5 centuries from now, you will get it reflected back to you. And I know a lot of you guys are like, what the fuck? I didn't come here to sign up for me to have to wait till I'm in my fucking 80s to get what I want. Look, the fact is, the only thing that gets in the way of you getting an instant manifestation of your SP is 2 things. One, if it is so out of the question that you're trying to manifest somebody back from the fucking dead, I'm not gonna be one of those manifestation coaches that says, oh yeah, dude, you can fucking, turn into a walrus if you just imagine the feeling of the fucking tusks coming out from your ass. I'm not gonna be one of those manifestation coaches, okay? We manifest. If you have the fucking belief that that's possible, then sure, yeah, you can do that. But I guarantee you, none of you guys have the fucking belief that you could turn yourself into a fucking walrus, because you guys can't even believe in yourselves. You can't even believe the simple fucking mindset of you being worthy, let alone you turn into a fucking centipede. Okay? So what do you want me to fucking tell you? You guys want to fucking manifest Hogwarts, but yet you can't even fucking believe that you can manifest a number 2 pencil. Okay? The only one who gets in the way of instant manifestations is yourself. Okay? So I'll tell you this. If you are a situation where you're trying to manifest somebody who's married, or manifest somebody who has you blocked and things ended really wrongly, yes, that can happen overnight. Yes, that can happen quickly. But if you are one of those who is not willing to trust the process and is going to keep saying, where is it, you will never find it, because the more you say where is it, you are telling your subconscious that you are in the state of the one who doesn't have it. That's why we say that you have to be okay with giving it to yourself in the experience of your 4D. Because if you can't be okay with imagining sucking on the breasts of your SP, but noticing that in the 3D, she still has you blocked even 6 months after you fucking do the best fucking 3D Blu-ray imaginal act that you could ever imagine, right? Because if you still react to the fact that you don't have it, no matter how good your affirmations are, no matter how good your sat session is, your subconscious will simply go, oh, okay, so you don't have it. And that's what will have to be fucking reflected. That's just the way it is. This is why, whether it's in the manifesting community, whether it's in the red pill community, whether it's in the get your ex back community and send them this nice fucking text that will make them shit out of their balls, no matter what it is, 100% of the time, when you stop giving a fuck, they start giving a fuck. I cannot tell you how many times, even before I got into Neville, that the moment that I fucking gave up on trying to get somebody's attention, on trying to get approval from my peers growing up in middle school, when I just, like, there was days where I used to, growing up in high school, growing up in middle school, when I was a teenager, I always wanted to be the cool kid, right? I always had a little nerdiness to me. You know, I didn't have the best of clothes back at that time. I didn't have the swagger, as you say. And I wasn't able to go out as much. So I always felt unworthy. I always felt left out, right? So I was always doing my best to find approval. But I felt like the more I tried to gain approval from my peers, the more they would eventually see right through the mask. But when it got to the point where I started saying, I don't give a shit if they see me as a fucking weirdo, as a dork, or I don't give a shit if I have no friends at all. I'm just gonna fucking show up, come here to the class and just do my work, not even have to talk to anybody if I don't have to. When I had days like that, that is literally like the moments when I would feel like a fucking celebrity, where it's all of a sudden now everybody wants to talk with me. Why? Because reality can only reflect who you are being. A lot of people say it's because of the energy, it's because of your body language, sure, but that is only a reflection of what's going on up here, your self-concept. When we say self-concept, it's just another way of saying your vibe, your internal well-being, your self-concept, what you conceive yourself to be in every moment. And if you're shifting from one day I'm doing great because I saw a little movement, but then today I realize it's been fucking 5 months and still he hasn't even fucking liked one of my stories or, you know, send me a text. If you react to that, but you don't react to the 4D, then which one do you think is going to be reflected? The one that you react to most. So if you're going to be impulsive, I want you to be impulsive of the 4D. If you're going to be neurotic, I want you to be neurotic about the 4D. Okay? Because it's the only one that you have control over. A lot of you guys are thinking, what text should I send? What should I dress in fucking lingerie to tempt him? Maybe he'll finally commit to me if I show up to the cafe like that, right? You are thinking of all these things to do, but all you are saying to reality when you do that is that I support the 3D. Like the scriptures say, those who are of the world are not of the Father. What does being of the Father means? It means being of your God power, being of the 4D, because the 4D is a representation of God in the metaphysical Bible. So the more you react to the 3D, aka saying, where is it? Why is it taking so long? You know, Neo, I've been doing real good, but anytime you say, I've been doing this and everything's going great, but that means you are going to tell me something that you notice in the 3D that you will continue to see in the 3D if you keep fucking admitting it to me. I get it. You sometimes have to tell your coach things and so that way we can help you. But I'm just telling you that that's the reason why you have that issue, right? And of course, that's the whole point why you go to a coach, right? But I'm telling you that you won't need coaching if you can just simply detach from the 3D. And again, Any of you guys who are extremely reactant and wanting to manipulate things, you know what? You can fucking manipulate and fucking, double text and fucking go, just try to interfere and change things. Which reality can you do that in? Your fucking 4D, okay? You can say, oh, I don't like the way she looks when she's showing me her tits when she lifts up the yellow blouse. I'm gonna give her a fucking red one, okay? You see her fucking stripping in front of you, but you realize, I don't really think she looks good with the white bra. Okay, great. My favorite color is black either ways, motherfucker. Give her polka dots on that motherfucker. Okay? Either ways, that bitch is coming off. You set the fucking rules. Look, the way that this works is that you want to get to the point where you are so in love with the 4D, you don't even give a shit anymore if it comes out in the 3D because you're giving it to yourself right now. Like, I'll give you an example and then I'll leave it at this. There is a woman who I work with, call HR, and I remember I used to hit on her a little bit before in the past, right? And it just kind of never would go well, even to the point where I thought that after I hit on her, she started to ignore me. And she probably did, right? Because she knew that I was kind of a player and this and that. But it's interesting. I started to give up on pursuing her, especially since now I'm in a fucking relationship, right? Obviously. But even a little bit before that, I just was like, well, who gives a fuck, right? Well, without me even doing any techniques, she started to chase me. And I even remember not too long ago, it was snowing over here where I'm from, and we all had to show up during an ice storm to shovel the snow because I also have a day job, and we were told that, especially since I'm a manager, we needed to clear the parking lots to prepare to open normal hours the next day. Well, all of us were in our regular clothing. I showed up in my nice hoodie, my shoes, my sunglasses, and a ball cap, right? The moment she looked at me in front of everybody, she's just like, and this motherfucker is married, okay? And this was one of the first times that she gives me one of those fucking reactions. Well, actually, I remember, now that I think about it, we got new uniforms as a manager, and she flat out told me, wow, you look very handsome, right? And again, this was all after me seeing that she started to feel a little awkward after I made a move on her several months before. But it's interesting. It wasn't until I detached and I just didn't give a fuck that she started changing her reality. And anytime somebody changes their opinion about you, that's just another word for saying that you just shifted to the reality where they think differently. You shift the realities, because when I made a move on her, I was coming from a more needier state. I think it was around the time that I went through a sex drought. And now that I'm in a much better state, it shifted me to the reality where she's reflecting how I am. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. It's the same way with your SP. They cannot reflect that you are their queen. They cannot reflect that they want to suck your dick if you are acting like the guy who has never had his dick sucked. If you are acting like the woman who always gets dumped. You have to be it before you see it, not the other way around. I can't tell you how many times I've had a client who still is like, but yeah, Neo, I need some signs so that way I can believe. The signs are up here. You know, what's interesting is that I tried it with this woman, even though I'm in a relationship, like my girlfriend knows. I tried techniques to see, to get more into the thick of things so I can help you guys out and really test them in the fucking laboratory for my clients, so I can tell you from a fresh pair of eyes that they work, right? Well, I was just thinking about it today. I was like, I imagined me having this scenario where whenever me and her are working, we're going to call her Barbara. Whenever me and Barbara are working together, I had this scenario in my head where what would it feel like if she, whenever no one was looking, was like, hey, go ahead and grab my ass really quick. Like, I had a woman who told me that one time years ago when we used to work together. And when no one was looking, if it was just me and her in the closet, she would tell me to grab her ass. She would open up her cleavage and put my hand in, and then she would grab my balls. Sometimes even when we were at the office chair, she would say, hey, can you help me with something? And I would be leaning over to read the email over her shoulder. And meanwhile, she just wanted me to be there so she can fucking scoop my junk, right? Well, I was imagining that there was a scenario where she was doing that with me and her. And now, whenever I think of her, right, I am mad. My subconscious tells me, oh, that's the girl that is fucking you, right? Even though I know, and I can say this because I don't give a shit if it happens or not, I know that it didn't happen in the 3D. But because I am at the point where my self-concept is through the roof, it literally feels like a memory. So you want to know how you can tell if you are doing the techniques right, and if you're a good student of the law of fucking attraction, the law of assumption, a good student of Neville Goddard and Abdullah, you'll know when your imaginal acts of your SP feel like a fucking memory. That is how you know that you impress the subconscious. And with her, I only did it a few times, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I did it, I got fucking hard, right? And I'm not saying you guys have to be horny and cum your pants whenever it happens, but I'm just saying that, you know, now when I think of Barbara, I'll just say Barbara, and my brain instantly goes, oh yeah, that's your side bitch, even though we're not doing anything in the 3D. However, she is giving me fucking signs on her own without me initiating anything that she's interested, right? But that's the way it is, guys. It all comes from you, whether it's a self-pedestalization, whether it's a imaginal act. It all has to feel natural, right? Like when I think of Barbara, I don't say, oh, look, I had a great fucking sash session this morning. No, my subconscious literally tells me that is your side hoe, because it's remembering my imaginal act like a fucking memory. So you want to know how to not make the fucking law of attraction gay, is to stop making it seem like if it's a fucking game. All the techniques are just like little fucking procedures. Like, you know, when you're watching those fucking alignment guys, the ones that crack the fuck out of your back, you know, it might look goofy at times where he has to fucking jump on the fucking seat and grab a hold of your neck and fucking pull you like a rare naked choke of Khabib Nurmagomedov. It might look goofy when they have to strap that towel and pull you like they're trying to decapitate you, but guess the fuck what? Some of those people's lives are being saved by doing that. And it's the same way with these techniques. It's not the technique, it is who you're being when you do it. Anyone can fucking put a towel around your neck and fucking try to, you know, crack your neck like some of those doctors, but it depends on who it is doing it. It's the same way with you. It depends on who is doing the technique, right? So a simple word of advice, whenever you get triggered in the 3D, just simply ask yourself, what the version of myself, what the bad bitch version of myself, or the fucking alpha version of myself be reacting to this bullshit if he already knew that he had SP? You want to behave under the premise that you already have SP. No matter if she is fucking somebody right there in front of your fucking lawn with a big fucking illuminated neon sign that says his dick is bigger. You are coming out to fetch the newspaper on the front lawn. Actually, we're in 2026. You're coming out to fucking, you know, check if your fucking Amazon Prime delivery came. And you're like, huh, she's gonna want me to fucking cook breakfast for her. I better go back inside. Huh, I just realized I have to fucking take her out again. Shit, hopefully she doesn't want to go to Chili's again. It doesn't matter. You are under the premise, you are under the assumption that all is well. Because let's face it, if you were in a relationship, you would not constantly be thinking about her all the time. You would just already have her, and you would have moved on from this whole thing of where is she, where is she, where is she? Just like if you had a fucking jacket, you're not constantly looking if you have the fucking jacket. It's a random jacket in your fucking closet. You just, if someone was to ask you, do you have that gray jacket still, the one with the fucking, you know, polka dots, be like, yeah, and then you would move on to the next fucking thing that you were doing. It's the same thing here. That's the way you need to get, is no matter how obvious it is that they're in love with somebody else and they're posting on their story how much they hate you, in your mind, you're under the assumption like, yeah, I already got them, and then you move fucking on. And the way you get to that point is you have such a high self-concept, you have such a high love for the 4D that nothing can fucking stir you. So you want to know one thing I will say that is not so gay about the law of assumption, the law of attraction, is that when you start doing these techniques, they are just simply a way to get you to not give a fuck. Because you already have it right here. Please book a fucking call with me, guys, because I know a lot of you guys still won't get it, and I'm ready to change your fucking lives forever. I am Neil Lartos. This is all that the I Am Awareness had to say, and I know you're going to be okay.